Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Monster Hunter Rise. And a couple of news came out after the release of Third Fleet Podcast episode 57. So I figured I would do a quick video to address some of these news. Now, the very first one is going to have to be the potential for Wyvern Riding being optional in Sunbreak. Now, this has not been officially confirmed, and I was actually talking with Gaijin at the time, and he was the one who pointed this out to me, because first we saw this tweet that you guys see right here on screen. Me and Gaijin actually saw the Japanese version of this tweet, which came out I think a couple of hours or maybe a couple of minutes before the Western version of the tweet came out, and Gaijin specifically said, oh, there's something here about the Wyvern Riding, which, you know, was all things in Japanese like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. And he was telling me that there was an option there for Wyvern Riding, which you can see right here, buttons for Wyvern Riding attack or A. Now this is as the option is currently in the game by default. So basically you can attack the monster when it is in a rideable state, or you can sheath your weapon and press A, which by the way is actually what this option means according to what Gaijin told me, because you can fit a lot more things into Japanese characters than you can into actual Western text, which is why they just have to say it A, but they actually mean sheath your weapon and then press A. But anyways, that's besides the point. If you actually go into your game right now, whether it is on Switch or on PC, you'll notice that this particular option is not there. Buttons for Wyvern Riding is not an option that you have. It quite simply goes from Wyvern Riding controls to start menu navigation, and this does not exist. And the fact that this does not exist, and also that there was a big pushback from a lot of people in the community indicating that, you know, Wyvern Riding can be fun the first couple of times you do it, but that they would rather not do it because they feel that it is not particularly optimal, particularly from the speedrunning community, because it's just not optimal to actually ride the monster, because there's the whole time where your character's like shooting out the spot. It's not spiderwebs. You get the idea, that the silk bind stuff, and then jumping on top of the monster and then slamming the monster into a wall, and then you can like slam it into a wall 3 times or slam it into another monster, or just like slam it into a wall, jump off. But even that, like the slamming, the jumping onto the monster, slamming it onto a wall, and then jumping off and continue attacking, that is a huge damage loss for a lot of speedrunners that, you know, they did not appreciate it. So I think that it's good that they're making it optional. I myself, I believe I've mentioned it quite a few times in the early days of Monster Hunter Rise, that I felt it would have been good if it was an optional thing that you didn't actually have to do. I even theorized that that could be something that they could change before the actual game came out, because we were talking about this during the demo days, but, you know, obviously that has not been the case, and it makes you wonder why they don't implement this particular feature in Monster Hunter Rise right now, because then you could get some feedback for the feature in real time ahead of the release of Sunbreak, which, by the way, if anyone from Capcom happens to watch this video, if you can, you should just implement this right now in Rise so that people could test it and give you feedback on it, so that you would know whether or not, you know, there's any adjustments that you need to do for Sunbreak. But that's just, you know, my suggestion in regards to that. But I think that that is good news for a lot of people. And let me know what you guys feel about that potential change. Keep in mind, potential, because this might actually not change as much as I'm suspecting here, but my suspicion is that it's going to be something like, look, they're going to give you the option to just like sheath an A for riding if you want to, without the attack part, so that you can keep attacking once the monster goes into a mountable state. And after he goes into a mountable state, it would be like a certain damage threshold. So after you deal a significant amount of damage, you know, however much that is going to be, I don't know, but you know that speedrunner is going to be like, oh, I'm going to put like 3 friggin' barrels in a true charge slash. That's going to be the case. But they could also just like reduce the time that the monster stays in that mode. I don't know. We'll have to see what the adjustment is going to be. My suspicion is a damage threshold, so that you can get a good hit in, and it kind of works like what people have started referring to as a clagger, which is when you deal enough damage to the monster and it's kind of like in a drooling state, waiting for you to clutch claw into its face in Iceborne. But, you know, this was one of the news that I wanted to bring up. The other one is that they are bringing what is essentially the Defenders set. I'm going to be watching the video in real time. We can all watch it, and then I will tell you guys my thoughts on it. So as you can see right here, get ready for Sunbreak. I'm actually going to lower the volume. New gear to support your hunts. So if you guys notice, we have the free DLC items here. This is all going to be free, so this is not going to be something that you have to purchase, both the items and the armor. And they're going to be giving you 14 defender weapons. Now, I believe that these are going to follow pretty much the same style that we had in Monster Hunter World, which for those of you that are not aware, it means that upgrading these weapons is super easy. And basically they will be the most powerful weapons. They're probably going to have the blast ailment, and they're going to have extremely high raw damage, and they're going to kind of like trivialize the rest of the weapons. Now I'm going to talk more about my thoughts on this at the end of the video, but let's continue. So obviously you can see that from the resolution here, it looks like they're doing this on the Switch version. They're saying that we're going to be getting this, I believe, it's all 14 weapons as a bundle. This is version 3.9, and I believe that this is going to be on the 24th of February, because I've already watched this video. And obviously they're going to be using the longsword as their reference, because it is kind of like the default weapon. And there it is. There's your difference, which you guys can see right there with a move that everybody knows, the Helm Breaker. And you can see that it's a little bit different. It's just a little bit different. It's only like 3 times the damage. Well, not on all hits, but, hit zones and whatnot. But it's like 3 times the damage of your regular sword. So this is already an extremely easy game. And when you introduce stuff like the defender weapons, like, people are gonna burn through village. This isn't even easy mode. This is like less than story mode at this point in terms of challenge. Like I said, I'll talk more about it after the video. You can upgrade it, and you guys can see that right there. It's like, whereas the other weapons, you have several intermediate steps. It looks like there's going to be 2 steps. Now, this could mean that it's not as powerful at the end. Did they actually show the final form? Final form is 150 raw. Looks like you'll have to upgrade it after you reach high rank. Okay, so that's actually not as bad as in World, where you could basically just take the whole thing through the whole game. Because 150, I don't think it's that much for a longsword. I think you can get it up to like 200 plus. I don't remember actual damage values. Like, my gun lance can reach 240 if I really go for maximum raw, but that's like maximum raw gun lance, which nobody uses. But yeah. And as you can see, it doesn't take much. It takes 1 bone resource to upgrade. And then you have the armor for beginning players, black belt armor set, and veteran's talisman, which is pretty much the same thing as defender. And this, they don't tell you the exact skills that you get from this. They tell you the skills that you get from the talisman, which I believe they show right now. Like on here, they just showed the defense, which is 30, which is significantly more defense than any starter set. And you can get this right from the get-go. And then here you have Constitution and Recovery up. Now, these are not fantastic stats by any stretch. So the Veteran's Talisman, whatever. I could take it or leave it, sure. You also get the layered armor, which is a good thing. At least we got the layered armor to play around with it if we want to. That is a big positive for me. Its high defensive capabilities will help you out during early access quests. You can see the difference in health right there. That's just the defense of the armor. The recovery is barely noticeable. It's not really a big deal. And this, I don't think that this recovery is even from the armor set. I think that this is from the Veteran Charm, right? Because the Veteran Charm is the one that comes with recovery up. Looks like it's going to have earplugs. And it also specifically says useful skills that increase your attack power. So it's probably going to have earplugs, a little bit of attack power, and I don't know what else, probably some quality of life skill. Guild Cross set, great for harvesting. So they're also giving you, we already have the Guild Cross set, and that is indeed very good for harvesting if you are, a new player just starting out. So they're giving you a set for hunting and a set for harvesting, which in a way I think is actually a good thing because it shows that they still consider that you should be harvesting stuff. But yeah, let's continue here. Use these beginner-friendly add-ons to make your way to the top in no time. So the intention here is to basically speed you along your way to get you prepared to, for Sunbreak, which is going to be coming out at some point during summer. Now, my thoughts on this is that I would actually not recommend people using Defender weapons. Like, if you want to use the Defender armor set to speed you along the way, I think, that's fine, whatever. But because here's the thing, when you get to high rank, you're going to have to craft new armors, which is to be expected, and there's not like a big investment in crafting new armors. On the other side, if you are just using the Defender set weapons and nothing else, what ends up happening is that when you have to craft a new weapon, you'll notice that you don't have the base version of this weapon. So you've been progressing through the game, and then you kind of like have to go back and face off against earlier monsters to craft the earlier versions of the weapons. This is something that happened to me in Monster Hunter World Iceborne on PC, which I expected. This was my choice because I had already played like over 1,000 hours on the PlayStation 4 version. Then I went to PC and I played with the Defender set to just kind of like boost myself to get into Iceborne. And then I got to Iceborne and I had to go back and play in high rank so that I could farm materials to craft, the weapons that I wanted to craft. Now, it could be that they're going to make, master rank weapons easier to craft. Then, maybe you don't have to follow the traditional low rank into high rank weapon to then get into master rank. Maybe it's just like, hey, you just get master rank materials and you craft the weapons. But if they do it like they've done it traditionally, then if you just use the Defender weapon, which I don't know if you're even going to be able to. I guess you could probably just use a Defender weapon to finish the game and get into a point where you can get into Sunbreak. But, then you might get into Sunbreak and you want to craft different master rank weapons, and you're not going to have the materials because you didn't really do the farming for the previous form of those weapons. But, it's just like my personal recommendation. You can do whatever you feel like. Obviously, this is your decision. And, it's just they're adding the Defender stuff like they did for Monster Hunter as a catch-up mechanic, which I think it's okay. Just keep in mind, like I said, make sure to farm a little bit to get some materials so that if you do want to craft, those weapons then in master rank, you won't have to go back and play high rank and low rank all over again. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, hit it up with a like. If you did not enjoy it, hit it up with a dislike. Feedback is important. How do you feel about potentially Wyvern Riding being an optional thing in Sunbreak? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know how I feel about Defender weapons, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe, peace out.